Okay, so you are never going to actually have to find the correlation coefficient or the R value, because as it says on here, you all have different calculators, graphing calculators, whether using your phone or an actual graphing calculator, and the process is a little difficult, so you will not actually have to find it. What you do have to know how to do is interpret the R value or correlation coefficient, which is the exact same thing. So the basics of this that you have to know is the correlation coefficient or the R value can go anywhere from -1 to 0 to 1. If it is at -1, it is very strong. If it's at 1 over here, it's also very strong. So the closer to -1 and the closer to 1 it is, the stronger it is. So for example, if we draw an arrow, further along the number line that it gets from 0 to -1, the stronger it gets. And same going the other way, from 0 to 1. So what's in between these? It is something important that you do want to know, so I'll take a minute and do it. It goes from 0 to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then gets to 1. And over here it goes -0.1, -0.2, -0.3, and so on, -0.4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, until it gets to -1. When you are at 0, that is no correlation at all. And that just means that between the two variables, so like say here, between the x and the y, between the two variables, there is no correlation. As I previously said, as you go along and get closer to 1 and -1, the stronger your correlation gets. An easy way to remember this is you have no correlation, strong correlation, and moderate and weak. So that'd be none. In between about 0.1 and 0.4 is going to be a weak correlation. And the same goes from over here. In between -1, -0.1, and -0.4, I know it's not written there, but it would also be weak. Once you hit 0.5 and up, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and so on, that will be considered about a moderate correlation. Anything 0.9 and above is strong, so same over here. I'm just going to put it down here, -0.4, -0.5, -0.6 gives me now this -0.4, but all the way to -0.9, -0.8 actually would be moderate. So 0 is no correlation. You go to the 1s, it goes stronger. So for example, if you look here, 0.999. If we put this back up here, that is very close to this 1, so it'll be strong. And just by looking in front of it, it is positive. This 0.932 is also very close to that 1, so it's strong. There is no negative inside in front of it, so it's positive. .776. If we look at that one, on our number line up here, so from -1 over here to 0 to 1, 0.776 would fall about right here. And remember when I said that you had that and went no correlation, strong, it was weak here, and then it became moderate. So that correlation is moderate positive. And this 0.133, again, it does help to draw the -1, 0, and 1. 0.133 is going to be right here. It is very close to 0, which is no correlation. So right here is a weak positive correlation. So if you see here, this one just says that it has a negative correlation, and it's negative, but it's a strong negative because it is very close to -1. So it's a strong negative. If you go here, if they give you a graph and they ask which one of the answers or the correlation fits it, what you want to do first is see if you can draw a line. So you draw your line in your graph. The closer that the dots fit to your line, the tighter the dots are to making a straight line, the better the correlation. When your line is going up like that, that means it's a positive correlation. If you had a line going down like this, like the blue line on your graph, that would be negative correlation. So right off the bat, we can get rid of number 4 because it's not negative. The red line is going up. 1, 3r equals 1. That means that the dots all fit on my line that I drew perfectly. The dots make a perfect line, which they do not, so we can get rid of that. R equals 0.28. Remember, if we have -1, 0, and 1, it's going to be a weaker correlation, so that's going to fall here. The closer you get to 0, the more spread out the dots are going to be going both directions. That is why the answer is 1.88, because even though it's not a straight line, it's getting there, which is what 1 would be. So that's why that one's 1.88. Okay, which one has the correlation coefficient closest to -1? Well, first of all, if you draw your line, I'll draw my lines in all of these. If you see this one, it's going up, it's positive. It's not negative, so it can't be 1. 2 is negative, so we'll come back. 3, I couldn't really draw a line. The values are all over. There's pretty much no correlation, so it can't be that. 4 is also negative, but we want the one closest to -1, so where all the dots almost fit on my line. So that would be 4, because remember, the dots will fit on the line more perfectly, closer to 1 and -1. So if you look here, an easy way to do this, which I know you already did this for your homework, you draw your lines in for all of these, which I'll scroll down in a minute. But first, before we even look at the numbers, we want to say if they're positive or negative. So A is going down, so it's negative. The line that I drew in. B is going up, so it's positive. C is going up, so it's positive. D has no correlation. Once you do that, tell whether it's positive or negative, then you want to tell if it's strong, weak, or moderate. This one is moderate. This one is pretty strong because that's almost all fit on my line. This one's very strong. And then no correlation, so there is no correlation, so I can't tell you whether or not it's strong, weak, or moderate. Then E, you're also going down. And then F is going up. So that's how you figure that out. So negative, and it's strong, and then positive. So that's how you figure that out, and then you match them all up. So if you look at this and you try to draw a line in this graph, there's really no way you can. That is why the answer to B is that there's no correlation, because the dots are all over. They in no way make a line. Remember that the closer to 1 and -1 it is, the stronger the correlation. The tighter together the dots are, they make a more clear line. This last one, you have to describe if it's strong positive, strong moderate positive, or weakly positive. So all the answers are positive, so we know it's positive. And we can draw our little number line to help us. 0.134 is going to land very, very close to 0. Remember, 0 is no correlation, 1 is strong. The closer you get to 1 and -1, the stronger it is. So now you have to say if it's strong, moderate, or weak. Well, we're very far away from 1, so we can get rid of it's not strong. Moderate, remember, is about 0.5 and above, and we're far away from 0.5, so I would say it's weak positive. So that's like in a nutshell what correlation coefficient and R-value are. Remember, you're never going to actually have to find it, you're just going to have to interpret it. So let me know if that helps at all. It should, with what you have to do on your test.